Hey, I'm Sam. That's Gray. We just watched Memoir of a Snail, and we're going to have a conversation about it. You are welcome to eavesdrop on us.
Life can only be understood backwards, but we have to leave it forwards.
Say cheese, Gracie.
Snails never go back over their trail.
As soon as I'm old enough and got money, I'm coming to get you.
This is the new film from Adam Elliot. He's the man who made Mary and Max with Philip Seymour Hoffman and Toni Collette back in 2009. It has been 15 years, and this is his next feature film. Stop motion takes a long time.
It sure does.
Yeah. And if you're a fan of Mary and Max, we can say right up front that you're going to like Memoir of a Snail too. It's very much like similar tone, sense of humor, and like storytelling, voice acting, humor. And like the feels. It's very emotional.
It is.
Yeah.
It makes me scared to go back and watch that one because everyone keeps saying the same thing with like if you liked that one, you're gonna love this one. It's just as sad. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, thanks. Like 99% of stop motion films like make you feel some kind of extreme emotion. It feels like.
Yeah.
And it's also very similar to Marcel the Shell we were talking about.
Yeah.
Very, very similar.
The animation looks, I would say, incredible. It's really great, and it's so specific and stylized.
It is. They were putting so much detail into it, even with it having like this messy kind of style.
Yeah.
Like the animation was so good at nailing down these characters and their like little mannerisms and stuff,
Yeah.
like the body language, and just. I remember there was one part where one of the characters was doing like a little head bob thing.
Yeah,
it was
that's so
funny.
good. And that's a character who's like on screen for maybe like 2 shots,
Yeah.
has no dialogue.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but you immediately get such a sense of personality from that, and like the hairdos that everybody has,
Yes.
stuff
Mm-hmm.
like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the character work on display here is some of the best stuff, and most of it's conveyed purely through like visual storytelling or through narration. There's not a lot of like back and forth dialogue between characters.
Yeah, you're right.
There's a little bit, but similar to Mary and Max, yeah, very narration driven. In this case, it's Sarah Snook doing not all of the narration, but the vast majority of it. There's a little bit that's Jacki Weaver was her name, right? Who played Pinky.
I think so.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
then there's some that comes from Kodi Smit-McPhee, who I'm not usually a fan of, but he did okay here. He played the other brother. He played Gilbert. He did a decent job.
Yeah, I loved the story with Gilbert.
Yeah.
That was a great, I wasn't sure where it was going because it was just kind of, we get a look at him every so often and it felt almost like it was going to keep it just to the bit of him like working in the little factory setup.
Yeah.
But then it takes things so much more, like it goes in such an extreme direction.
Yeah, there's cool
It's
social
so
commentary on like organized religion, Christianity in particular.
Yeah.
And at first when they were like, oh, it's getting religious, I thought they were going to do the like fake religion thing, where it's like a made up thing so they don't get too direct. But then no, they're saying baby Jesus and they get into
Baby
tithing
Jesus
and
is-
like all kinds of, yeah. And the gay conversion stuff, like it goes all out
They
with
were
the...
speaking in tongues.
Yeah,
too,
that one guy was speaking in tongues constantly. Yeah, so it does not hold back on the religious commentary, and it has like a lot to say. It's not like the focus of the movie or anything.
They handle so much with like how judgmental those foster parents are with the homophobia and
Yeah.
everything like that. Are we getting into spoilers? Was that spoilery?
I don't think that's a...
Yeah, probably not.
I wouldn't call that a spoiler. They're religious. You can assume they're
That's
homophobic.
true, yeah.
They're running the church 9 times out of 10. Yeah.
Oh my god, but I loved how like so many people try to just downplay it or like
Yeah,
what's
absolutely.
like they water it down.
They like whitewash it too.
Yeah, that too,
Yeah.
absolutely. But with this one, it did a good job of making sure you see how serious it is, but also throwing in those little comedy.
Oh yeah,
moments,
still
like-
very funny.
Yeah,
This
really
movie is like we mentioned right away how like depressing it is. It is really depressing, but it's got this really great mix of tones where it can be like really depressing and really funny in like the
Yeah.
exact same moment,
Mhm.
or even like depressing yet optimistic in the same moment. These heavy things will happen, and they'll find like an optimistic way to look at it. But then one of the heaviest parts of this is how you watch Grace, and to a slightly lesser extent Gilbert, grow up over the course of the movie. Like we see their actual like we see them in utero at the start of the movie.
we do.
And then we go to them as adults, and this is one of those things that feels really true, but it's just like so heartbreaking that that optimism that they have as children is like just stripped out of them more and more as they grow up over the course of the movie.
It's very good at portraying that, and that's the thing that was making me just feel so emotional at how good they were portraying it, and how I don't know how well that childhood innocence gets portrayed, because it's something that's so genuine, and I don't know, it's such a tricky subject to portray to its full extent, where it's like, oh my god, I'm gonna cry, and then they throw in some humor that makes you feel a little bit better. It's like, oh god, I'm gonna cry later at some point, but right now I'm laughing.
Yeah.
And it's like those little license plates that would pull up when you're in the middle of like almost like you're tearing up and shit, and then you see a license plate that says like Born to Kill or something.
Yeah. There was one that said like, why are you sad, or something like that, and it was in a really sad moment. It like forces you to like reflect on it a little bit.
Yeah, it's so fucking funny, because it's like, oh, it's like I can almost cry and laugh at the same time. It's very, very good.
The emotion all lands really effectively.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't think there was like a single moment that didn't ring true on an emotional level. Like it all works.
It all did, yeah.
This movie
absolutely.
plays you like a fiddle on the ups and downs.
It sure does, in like the most beautiful way, because it feels like anyone could relate in some way to the characters throughout the whole thing, even if they've never, been like clapping while they're while someone died.
Right, yeah, they clap for their dad's death accidentally.
Like, even if you haven't had that extreme, like everyone either has or eventually will be close to someone dying, so it's like you can, have your emotions click with that, or like the other portrayals of like slowly dying and whatever. Yeah.
There's so much death in this movie.
So much.
It's like one of the core, not even like one of the core themes, yes, but also it's like a motif, like death. You're kind of just like waiting for each character to die because it happens so often. And also, that's not even a spoiler, because from the beginning, like the opening piece of narration, she's like, everybody around me has died.
Yeah, she makes sure as soon as you start watching, like, everyone's dead. Everyone's dying and dead right now.
Yeah. And it opens with one character's death, and then you circle back to when that character's still alive, and they make you love her so much, and really, and then like you almost forget, oh yeah, we know she died already. The thing is, it's called Memoir of a Snail, and it's presented as a memoir of this character, and it feels so personal.
It does.
That it almost feels like, it must be like an author insert character or something, like, but not in a bad way, in the way that like a good coming of age movie can do that. I don't think it really is, though, because Mary and Max had that feel too. And the things that happen to this character are so specific and so like outlandish and wacky that they couldn't possibly be real, but they just feel so like observed and specific. Like in my screenwriting group, one of the things that we always encourage each other to do, the other writers, is to like get more specific, more specificity in every scene. And this movie has like, it's as specific as you could possibly get down to the tiniest little detail. You will never get tired of just like scanning the backgrounds in this movie. There's so like every little product. I was surprised by how many like real products there are in this, and like a non-product placement way. But like when they play a board game, like it is Monopoly.
Yeah, and the books.
And it's constantly like real book titles, and then some fake ones. Or I assume the ginger-chested pirate sounds like a fake one.
It could be real. It could be.
It probably is, honestly.
If it didn't exist before this, like it will exist now. Someone's gonna get on it, and I swear.
The detail in this is crazy. Like it's even fantastic. Just the opening credits. It's this whole like garbage pile, and every little piece of trash is interesting and unique.
I got a degree in animation, in 3D animation, and during my senior year for my final film project, since I was a part of one of the more experimental projects that was going on for the senior class, they lumped us in with the stop motion people, so I got to work for a very good amount of time. Basically, it was 3 quarters where I would just work basically side by side with all the stop motion people that were graduating along with me, and I would always get to see them working on building the sets and the character like sculptures and the clothes that they would wear and all this planning and where we would do the daily stuff where, you know, they would present their work in front of everyone for critiques and whatever. And it was just, I still don't know if there's anything I could ever compare to like how just how passionate the stop motion people are with the things that they create. They just force, like, they're so focused and just like really dedicated to everything, like night and day. You would find them there working their butts off, sleep deprived, like on so much caffeine, you know, and they had the coolest ideas, and I don't know, it was just such a cool little insight into how much work goes into it, because before I went there, I did like stop motion already. I liked a lot of the older, like Coraline was a good movie. I think I saw it for like my 12th birthday or something.
Oh, yeah.
It's so fun. I loved watching anything stop motion, and the Chicken Run.
Chicken Run's a classic.
Yeah. But yeah, it's like before I had like somewhat of an idea of how much work went into it, because I would watch like the special features on the DVDs and whatever, and but yeah, when you're like right next to people working on that kind of stuff and you really see it, it's like, I don't know how y'all do this. Like every little thing, it's like you could depend on those people in an apocalypse situation because they just know how to make anything. Yeah, it just takes so many different parts of making art that usually aren't combined, and it just like brings it all together. Really fun. Very, very admirable, I think.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I couldn't stop thinking about how long it would take to do like
Yeah.
these locations that are only on screen for a few seconds.
Mm-hmm.
Like that in particular. And that opening credit sequence, I was like, yeah, you could spend 15 years just on that, modeling all that trash.
Like beautiful, beautiful trash, honestly. Yeah. Very beautiful.
And there's so many little jokes hidden in those things.
There are.
Like there's like every little storefront and every object has like something to it.
Yeah. I would, because you know, in live action films, you're already taught that like every shot has to have a purpose. But with stop motion, it's like, since you're responsible for making every single thing that's in each shot, it's like you can go absolutely crazy with it.
Yeah.
With like everything having its own specific purpose. It's awesome.
And I wanted to mention, I think it's clear already, but unlike some of the other more adult-oriented stop motion movies like The Wolf House or Mad God or whatever, this one could look like a kid-friendly kind of movie from the outside.
Absolutely.
And it definitely is not.
No.
There's like nudity, like clay nudity. There's lots of blood and guts and stuff. It's not just death in the like Disney way. It's a little a little more gory. Like someone rams a tooth back into their mouth and loses a finger.
Good. I still can't get over that part. I've never seen someone lodge a tooth back into where it fell out of. I've never seen that in my life.
Yeah, definitely
and
not.
It's like, oh, how would that feel? Probably very bad.
Yeah, probably.
They make it look pretty bad.
Yeah. He was
but
smiling.
the character was smiling. He was.
Yeah.
He was, but to be fair, very badass at the same time.
Yeah.
So he deserved to smile. Yeah. It gets like disturbingly psychosexual for a
Oh
second.
yeah. You talking about with the photographer guy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was freaky as fuck.
Yeah, that's full on like horror movie like twist reveal. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my god. Because could you imagine? Like.
Oh my god.
Because like we've all discovered something weird about a person that we've known for a while. We've had a moment, not to that extent, hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully.
I really hope not.
Jeez.
Like I definitely had seen some really weird things, like, going into my parents' closet or something. Like, but like that, oh my god, it takes that little nugget of memories we all kind of have and just goes like, oh, what if this guy that you really loved and whatever, it was actually just a fucking maniac.
Yeah.
And, like, and you just don't really see it coming. Like, he is a little off-putting.
Yeah,
but
no,
so
I
are a
did
lot
not
of
see it coming.
characters.
And it
Yeah.
was so well set up in
It
retrospect,
was.
like so well.
But yeah, really fucking good movie. I already knew I was gonna like it probably, but like I was still so surprised.
Yeah, I was surprised by like how poignant it was, which I guess I shouldn't have been because Mary Max was definitely very poignant as well. But there's like, it avoids the like cliche and like platitudes. It avoids that stuff. And it has some like really poignant and kind of remarkable things to say about sort of like life in general, the human condition, the the big grand thing that drama is supposed to elicit
Right.
and rarely does. I think it does scratch at that a little bit.
It absolutely
There's some really good
does.
quotes and whatnot. Like I think this is the tagline, but that little Snail-centric quote about life only makes sense backwards, but you have to live it forwards.
Yeah.
And a snail never goes over its own trail and stuff like that. It's really
Yeah.
nice.
Such a good quote.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's like
so
sweet
beautiful.
and like life affirming kind of.
It is.
Yeah.
Because we have to remind ourselves that so often, where it's like, if you can look back, but you don't want to move backwards, like ever. You can't go backwards. If you do that, you're just setting yourself up, basically.
Yeah.
And like that reminder of like looking back at things and feeling bad about certain things, it's like, it's in the past now, and you're still moving forward regardless, Like, you can still look forward to things, even with the past being not great all the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is a general way of putting it, I guess.
Yeah. And this movie, it gets so bleak.
It does.
And like
Yeah.
the character needs that encouragement
She
of
really
like
does.
looking forward. And like as an audience member, I was like, we won't get into specifics or spoilers or anything, but this was definitely a movie where like I needed a happy ending. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you need it so badly because how much the movie beats you down. Oh, and I do want to mention also that the bleakness doesn't feel forced or like gratuitous.
that's
It's not
it.
that like misery porn thing that
Yeah.
people apply that movie to or that label to lots of movies that just like make them feel sad and they don't want to feel
Yeah.
sad. But then there are some movies that deserve it. Like I think that whale movie, that
Oh.
recent one. I feel like that falls into the misery porn category
It
where it's
feels
just
like it would be.
it's just so over the top with like, oh, doesn't his life suck so much in every way? I wanted to talk a little more about the characters, just like in broad strokes in general. All of these characters are so well defined,
Yes.
and so, like I mentioned earlier, the specificity of it all, and it feels so efficient with its pacing.
Right.
Like this movie packs so much into a package. I think it's like 98 minutes.
Yeah.
So, like it's not a long movie, but it covers so much, and it also still feels like really snappy, even though it's covering all that much.
Yeah.
It moves so fast, and it introduces characters, and you get a crystal clear picture of who that person is. There's even one character who is introduced as being one-dimensional and having no layers, but even he feels fully dimensional.
Yeah.
Like even before the like twist thing happens with him.
Yeah.
Even right away, he's got all these details of like he loves his leaf blower. He's a microwave repairman. Like
Yeah.
you learn so much about him right off the bat.
Even just the way he looks, like, gives you a lot.
Yeah.
Just his overall appearance and style, and then the way he smiles, too,
Yeah.
is really fucking good.
The movie, it just feels so authentic and observed with all these little details.
Yeah.
And also in the credits, I noticed special thanks to Jean-Pierre Jeunet. I don't know if that's how you pronounce it, but he's the Amelie director. And I think if you were to compare this to anything, Amelie's not a bad comparison. Like they have a similar kind of feel with like the whimsy, but the seriousness at the same time, and then like the similar humor and whatnot.
Right.
And Jean-Pierre Jeunet, or I guess Amelie specifically, I often hear compared to Wes Anderson's movies, which is a filmmaker I was thinking of. Even his live-action movies feel a lot more meticulously planned, and like he kind of creates his own worlds with the
Yeah.
excessive production design.
Oh, he's definitely got stop motion brain 24/7.
Yeah.
Even when he's not making stop motion, I definitely see it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the way that narration is used in this also kind of reminded me of the way Wes Anderson uses narration sometimes.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
I forgot about that. It's been a while since I watched a Wes Anderson movie. But yeah, that's a big thing I really liked about his stuff. Because a lot of the times I see people bring up narration as a bad thing, which it
Right.
can.
It
Can
definitely
be
can
bad.
be, yeah.
Yeah, but I love a good narration.
Me too.
It's so
Yeah.
wonderful.
I don't like that it has that like blanket negative stigma these days a lot of
Yeah.
the time. That opening of Royal Tenenbaums where it's like recapping the family history and like
Yeah.
what each kid was as a young adult and then grew up. And Memoir of a Snail was kind of like if you made that sequence the whole movie, where you're memoiring their entire life of these two siblings and
Yeah.
going through it and like with the quirky humor and all that. Not in a derivative way, just in like a style point of reference kind of way. I really loved Memoir of a Snail. I think it's definitely going to be one of the highlights of the year.
Absolutely. I
Yeah.
already saw a lot of people saying it was their favorite movie of the year or favorite animated movie of the year. It's just, yeah, it's getting so much recognition already from the people that have seen it, where they're just going, hey, this is one of the coolest things to see this year. So I really hope that it gets a really good, like, opening with the release and everything.
Yeah, when it goes wide,
Yeah.
let's hope this does, at least pretty well at the box office. A movie like this is never gonna like, it's not gonna bring in Marvel numbers or anything. But let's hope it turns a sizable profit so this guy can keep making stuff. It was worth the wait, but hopefully the next one doesn't take another 15 years.
We can hope. If it does, maybe it'll also be worth the wait.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm sure it will be. Yeah. Oh, and one last thing I wanted to mention. I feel like the 15-year wait you can really see in the level of detail, the environments and all that, but I think you can also, importantly, see it in the script as well, with how refined and tight it feels in every
It's
moment.
so well written.
Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah. It's what makes that narration so damn good.
Yeah, so that's Memoir of a Snail. We both highly recommend it.
Very much.
Check it out. Go see it in the theater if it's playing near you.
Mm-hmm.
And if you like this, you can check out the Brickwall Pictures Patreon. There are bonus videos, early access videos. If you want another review with us, you can check out our Red Rooms review, another movie that we highly recommend for this year.
Easily.
It flew under the radar a little bit.
Yeah. Oh, please at least watch the movie. Like,
Yeah.
damn. Like,
Yeah.
Don't let that one fly by. That was so, when it dropped and everyone was slowly starting to talk about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're getting a lot of good movies this year.